everybody. Welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. I was inspired by Akira Schmidt and his family that named him and his brother after Dragon Ball Z characters. I thought,
wow,
that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Akira Schmidt, of course, taking care of the New Jersey Devils, not single-handedly, but made it look pretty easy. Did I say taking care of the New Jersey? I guess taking care of the New Jersey Devils, taking care of the New York Rangers.
There we go.
Yeah.
Lest we forget that Matt's kids are named after wrestlers and Star Wars characters.
That's right. Tristan's aboard. We know we're delivering Tristan's favorite show topics of the year. Chewy's aboard. What is up,
What's up, Chewy?
So today we've got Oliver Moore and Gabe Perreault are going to be a part of the conversation today. The U.S. development team is really catching my eye. I got to say, it's probably got a lot to do with how well they're performing recently. I think we have to touch on who everybody's kind of labeling as part of the Yzer Plan 2024 version, Mike, which it's so funny to me, but Cole Yzerman, of course, rocking and rolling.
You know,
but he's tracking right now to be like the first pick. So of course we would have to, it'd be great to draft Yzerman, a part of the Yzer Plan.
Yeah, that's the new Yzer Plan.
That would also mean we.
Also, Blake thrown in there. Trade those picks, Steve.
Well, I was
Florida just barely got in and could go all the way, and then a go Sherrod, and then a 6 sign, so we can tell that he felt ill after he said go Sherrod. Understood. Thank you, Blake.
Finishing my thought. You know what? I can't remember. I can't remember what it was now, to be completely honest. Oh, right. I was going to say that would mean we'd have to suck ass again for Yzerman to be on the docket. Jared Shaw, to Boston and New York Rangers. Real quick.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to go over all the losers here because we're going to talk about some free agent possibilities and some trade possibilities I think are fun and some teams more than others. I think we'll kind of talk about Winnipeg's situation and how much fun that is to dissect. It's crazy.
By the way, the legit trade rumors they're already coming in, Matt. Ken Young suggesting trade Sherrod to Florida for a first rounder.
Ooh.
I feel like we'd have to throw in maybe Larkin in that deal for that valuable Florida first round. I mean, we're already giving up one of the pillars of the team. We might as well give up 2 pillars in that trade.
Absolutely.
And Jared with an important question. Why is Matt out of uniform? Matt,
whoops, one sec.
See, Matt, he's going behind the curtain right now. I see him looking for hats. Okay. There he is. Matt is back. NHL emblem ready for Jared. I'm going a little red, white, and blue today, but still repping the D.
You should have worn your Kraken shirt. What are you thinking?
Because I'm ordering a Kraken jersey. Because I am ready to sniff some Kraken. I am high on that team.
Don't you have a Kraken shirt?
I do.
You did.
I get a lot of wear out of it. It's actually in the laundry.
Jared says, just looks so out of place when I didn't have my hat. All right. So first round of the playoffs. We'll talk about it for a second here.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite first rounds ever. It was one of those things where I was kind of catching up on significant other TV watching, right? You have your programs you have to watch together. And I was watching, basically just had Florida and Boston on my phone. And then it was like, sorry, we're doing the old switcheroo here as Florida just tied it up. We're going to watch overtime. It was beautiful. I love, you know what? Even the excitement and the drama involved with Toronto, like it would have been so much fun to see Tampa take out Toronto again. But There's something so much more fun about what looks like could happen with Florida and Toronto so far, of Toronto making it to the second round and just being like, I don't even know what to do now.
Yeah, a lot of fascinating narratives.
And then we'll get our asses handed to us.
No, yeah, you're right. A lot of fun narratives. You know, with the ne'er-do-well defeating, you know, basically a perennial cup contender. You know, the famed team who really knows how to manage that cap. Talking about you, Tampa. And then the Rangers go down. That one was that was a little surprising for me. I thought the Devils would you know, take maybe another season or two to actually win a round. And I'm glad people like Greg Wyshynski were holding on to some receipts because he called out the Devils being good, I think in November this year, like topping out in the division.
Yeah, but he's a Devils fan, so he says that at the start of every season.
But I appreciate when guys hold on to the receipts like that. I like doing that. Just like I'm holding on to my Veleno receipt for his alleged ascent into the rafters in every All-Star game. Not gonna happen. But anyway, no, really excited about the Devils moving on, Matt. Except for our boy Severson. He's going to get a big old bag. And I don't know, because I asked you about it. I don't know if we're going to have time today, but I don't know if like some of the eliminated teams, if there's any of the free agents that kind of wet your noodle at all.
Yeah, I put some slides together, but let's get this one out of the way. This is the sad one.
We got to start with the sad stuff first. Okay.
Yeah, while you guys are on YouTube, you could see, by the way, just got to point this out again. Our sponsors, DraftKings as always, and Raycon back on the board. Use promo code THPN for both. Of course, DraftKings always has fun things that you could take advantage of, which I took advantage of for that first round in the playoffs, and I was very successful, including my bet where I did pick Florida and Seattle. Your man made some money. And of course, Raycon, you get that 15% off if you guys want to try out the earbuds that mimic the sound, but not the price. Some of those higher competitors. Any hoozles, Mike. I don't know how to transition out of that, but we wish that Simon Edvinsson was duplicating the not being injured by Moritz Seider last year.
That was a great segue, man. Love it.
Like that one, unfortunately. He just had surgery that so I love that the Detroit Red Wings Twitter was like, okay, everyone. May 1st, the surgery was done. Recovery time is expected to be 4 to 6 months. Keeping in mind, as we put in our graphic, May 1st was when the surgery was done. So if we all put on our let's get our abacus. Is it abacus? Is that
abacus? That is a word. Yes.
Everybody get your abacus out. 1 month, Mike. That would be June. 2 is July. 3 is August. 4 September. Maybe. Or are we not going to rush our super duper valuable left side defenseman? That's our future. No, we will not rush him. October and November. All right. So
he's gonna probably miss the first month of the season, right?
Can I make a further argument that if things aren't going great in October, we'll just pump the brakes across the board here. Let's give him some time in practice. You know what I mean? Like things aren't going great. I do not expect even at the 6-month recovery period we'll see him. I saw a lot of people saying like perfect in time for training camp. Don't rush my boy. Keep him secret. Keep him safe. This is our one ring, Mike. But it's sad news, right? I mean, this is a bummer. This is even like a surgery that wasn't even on our radar. Like it's just, hey, surprise. One of the things you were excited about next season, like now that we're through our season ticket rush promotion, we'd like to let you all know that Simon Edvinsson will start the year injured as long as the recovery goes according to plan.
I will say,
Does it mean that I said that part?
obviously we're bummed out, right, that he's hurt, but
Yeah.
I do feel kind of good that it's just a shoulder. Because when this stuff, these kind of injuries, with long-term recovery plans, anytime it's like ankles, knees, groins, legs, where these guys can't even skate, and then they come back and they look ice cold.
Yeah.
It's not just the recovery period. It's okay. Then when is he actually ready for hockey period? So at least shoulder, he can still get on the ice. Still work on some stuff. So I'm bummed, but I'm not. This isn't devastating news. And then he will probably just miss like the first month of the season. He'll be fine.
Right. I mean, we're also talking about a franchise where maybe it's a little tongue in cheek, but we're all kind of like, "Ooh, look at Cole Eiserman. That would be so much fun to get the first pick and draft him." And then, like that's again maybe jokingly we throw that out there, but the expectations aren't exactly Stanley Cup next year. So yeah, like with Dan B, I'm sad, but we'll be okay. All right. So what's going on? Righteous throws out there. I'd like to see Carolina make it, but I live in North Carolina, so it's only fair. That's actually, what did I pick? I have Carolina winning the cup over Edmonton. Which, by the way, Mike, I got 69 points on my NHL bracket challenge.
Look at this guy.
I just mentioned Righteous's comment here because we're going to transition to do a little bit of talk on some potential. I don't know. Let's do some future conversations here on some of the guys who, some of the teams, franchises, GMs, coaches that didn't do so great. And you panic, right? You go into like either retool mode or you are in just bust it up. And I brought up DeBrincat because that was what we kind of played this game last week, like with what is out there, what can improve this team, and you kind of like those finishing numbers from DeBrincat. You kind of like the even strength offense he's bringing. We always struggle on the power play. We've seen some movement forward. We've seen some improvement. So that name kind of works. So with that being said, let's talk about Winnipeg. This is where you go hard into Winnipeg, right? Like there's conversations coming from Connor Hellebuyck, one of the best goaltenders in the league, Blake Wheeler. A real leader figure in the locker room, calling into question his own coach, and his coach walking into post-game press conference after being eliminated and just throws out there overall thoughts. I'm so disappointed and disgusted right now. And then he calls out his own players and says, we talked about this in January. This team was putting out this effort. They weren't going to go anywhere. And my guys did not put out the playoff effort. And basically the response was either Connor Hellebuyck going, my main goal is to win a Stanley Cup, and I'm starting to run out of time, and I can feel it. What a fun thing for fans of the Winnipeg Jets to read in the newspaper. Right. And then Blake Wheeler kind of calling out his coach, going, he could have been honest with us. We could have had those discussions behind closed doors. So I didn't agree with how he handled himself after the game. Announcement, Rick Bowness, he's not going anywhere. So who does go somewheres? Probably all those bums that Rick Bowness is talking about. But there's one bum in particular I've got my eye on, Mike. Nikolaj Ehlers. 26-year-old winger.
Phenom.
Yeah, phenom, of course. 95% projected WAR for anybody listening on the podcast. So we pulled up the old J Fresh.
No, I do want to talk about Nikolaj. Can you go back to the quotes real quick?
Oh, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, Hellebuyck, I don't think he deserves grief for what he said. His goal is to win a Stanley Cup. He's running out of time. Yeah, you have a finite amount of time that you get to be, a professional athlete before your body starts to fail you. So, for one, yeah, I think he's totally within his right to say that. And I feel like ownership and management, I I don't know about, you're kind of always deciding, well, is it the coach or is it the players? Because we got to reset, one of those two things. And this is not a team devoid of talent. Especially as we're about to look at a few of the really good players that Matt wants to pillage, and throw in some of our extra draft capital to acquire. So yeah, maybe it's the coach, because I feel like that would be a much easier sell to the fan base, rather than making trades with Steve Yzerman, that they'll probably come to regret, for the next 5 to 7 years. And I gotta say, like, I agree with Connor, with Wheeler. We could have had those discussions behind closed doors. I guess. I mean, heat of the moment, like, one of those pressers where they're like, "Oh, what happened?" I can't stand when these guys are just, have to pretend that they're not human beings that, are going through really tough emotions and frustration. Like, I don't know why you should have to feel guilty for being, a little bit honest with how you feel. So I mean, it's never a great situation when you're the team on the losing end. I just, the probably the likelier option, rather than making a series of trades with Yzerman, is probably getting rid of the coach. Even though I feel like he's really, within his right to be disappointed, to be disgusted. And, he's probably upset because some players playing the way they did probably going to cost him a job. So.
Well, let's see. Where do we want to take the conversation? Because I mean, we could bring up.
We don't have to spend too much time, but I just, I thought throw that in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not pointing out anything that doesn't make sense. It's just the conversation for me pivots to, let's look at cap friendly and find who's going to be nice juicy trade bait for Steve, or a UFA that we could go after, maybe an RFA. Pierre-Luc Dubois could be some combo conversation here of a free agent heading to the market, and maybe we get those RFA rights through a trade, and it's expiring. We don't have to give up too much. But the reason I go into that conversation is just because at least the word is out there, right? That Bonus is sticking around. And I think it might be to the point, and you brought it up again, was like, maybe it's not the worst thing that these guys speak their mind, because it's not like this Winnipeg group, like the core of it, hasn't had a few shots and failed. And let's also not pretend like Connor Hellebuyck doesn't drag these guys through the regular season to get to this point. So it's just time to, maybe for them, I'm saying, maybe time for them to just find some ways to retool over a couple of seasons with some draft picks, or what have you. But I have up their cap friendly page again. I'll bring this back up here. Doop. I gotta be honest, like, for me, there isn't too much on here that I am too juiced up about from the UFA conversation. So that's why, like you said, Mike, and you had me take it down. I had my Nikolaj Ehlers call out there. And if we take a quick look here, we're not talking about the cheapest contract in the world. But like we saw, he's a 90. What was that? 96, 95% WAR. I mean, this is a guy that puck goes in the right direction when he's on the ice. Like, that's the long and short of it. And I don't think I can say enough how badly I want to see more guys on this team with that finishing percentage in the 90s, because they're out there. And you got to take advantage of a team who might want to make some moves to make sure some season tickets are moving, or just make sure the fans know that there's something going on. And that's where Steve comes in. And maybe it's not a trade that they regret. Maybe it's a trade that makes sense. Steve gives a lot, and Steve gets a lot. This is an analytics darling, by the way. Jay Fresh loves Nikolaj Ehlers. Our boy Dom Luszczyzn is always asking for more minutes, because you can see on Jay Fresh's player card here, he gets third line time on ice despite all of the success he has, even strength offense wise. So just putting it out there, maybe it's worth it. Maybe both sides can win. And for us, I think there's so many holes. And, if we want to say Marco Kasper's got a spot, he's got a center spot coming up this season. We have a Dylan Larkin. We have an Andrew Kopp. So let's get some wingers in there with some finishing touch, right? There's an option. Take advantage of this team that is probably going to get more desperate as the seasons go on.
Yeah, I don't hate it. This does feel like a trade, though, where you'd have to give up quite a bit.
Just depends on where the value's at. Like this is when you're pillaging a team that's gone out and had some, I'm going to say PR trouble. You could package some draft picks that are existing this year with the Wingdings and make something work. And it doesn't even have to be too deep. Like we would still get a great first round pick and dare I say 2 first round picks. And we've got a chunk of second and thirds we can play around with too.
I don't know if you have the J Fresh fired up, but Tristan also thrown in his trade offer for Kyle Connor. So it'll be 17 overall, our own first the next season, and then Zadina. But I think the only issue with that trade is it's just 2 firsts. I don't think Zadina has the weight to carry a trade like that. Usually wants some sort of NHL level player if you're going to get picks, and Zadina is borderline NHL.
I mean, yeah, we're talking about a guy that struggles to stay in the lineup on a team that's been at the bottom of the barrel for a little bit here. So just being completely honest with ourselves.
Do you think that Winnipeg would really put him up on the block? So I feel like it would have to be, like Tristan throwing in there, Dubois being a little bit of a cancer. I feel like if you're going to pillage, they're going to want to get rid of him first before they're getting rid of Ehlers.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. And, I don't know if you want to get in the conversation of well, do I want the guy who I'd rather have, or do I want the guy who's going to be available? Because that's the conversation I want. That's the conversation I expect Steve Yzerman to have with himself. Because I expect him to go after one of those guys. Here's Kyle Connor at his 80% WAR. 25-year-old left winger, gets those first line minutes. Has the finishing touch at the 92%. I mean, it's great finishing numbers for a team that is always labeled as they need a goaltender to drag them through for a victory. I think both of these guys are great options. I actually, I was distracted there pulling up this player card. What did Tristan say? Kyle Connor for 17th overall pick, Zadina, and our own first from next year. Oh, man. That's a lot. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the market. Plus, I think you'd have to probably have a sexier piece than Zadina. It would have to be a guy that you're, kind of excited about. Prospect
yeah, the draft picks make sense. I don't know if anybody wants Zadina. I feel like that's more.
That's just for us, and we know that nobody loves him more than Yzerman.
Yeah, I don't hate giving up draft picks. I kind of like everybody's giving Tampa a hard time right now because they gave up 100 picks for Tanner Janot, and they're out in the first round. But of course, Tanner did. They came out and said he was hurt, so I don't really want to judge his play too much because that didn't really pan out either.
What if he's just their Andrew Kopp?
Yeah, for sure. But I like that mindset. I know it's gonna get get ripped apart because of how far they went in the playoffs, but still, I mean, what they gave up 5 picks, I think, was it for Tanner, and the chance that even the first round pick becomes a full-time NHLer is such a low percentage compared to a guy who they've seen. And even just finding another Tanner, they're not, you don't necessarily with your first round pick need to find Steven Stamkos. But even finding another Tanner Janot is going to be incredibly difficult. And they know, I mean, this past season, they knew they had one on their roster. Like I'm kind of moving closer to that boat. So I'm happy to find out what happens with this first pick on Monday. Of course, the draft lottery, and then making some more decisions from there. Mike, you had a big reaction. What was?
I think it was Mr. Potster himself, Blake, saying, "You guys are nuts. Zadina will be a 30-goal scorer." Wow, it's a very optimistic take. I wouldn't mind seeing him be like a 10-goal scorer. But he's not completely devoid of talent. It's just we just haven't seen any evidence of it, panning out yet. So yeah, we're definitely, kind of sitting tight on that one.
I like Tristan throughout here to swap Zadina for Albert Johansson.
Yeah, it would have to be somebody we are interested in. So I think that trade's a little bit closer.
Yeah, I think you might have a winner there. That might get you going. I kind of like that.
Chewy throwing out there. Will Burt want to come back? That's one of my favorite moves is when you're able to trade a guy, get assets, and then re-sign him in the offseason. That's like a double dip that works in the video game. I love it.
That is a double dip. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they were really far apart on years and salary, and we heard that Steve's first conversation and Tyler's agent happened. All right, it happened early in the season, and they never talked again. So I will say I do not think it's happening. I don't think that's a great way. That's not one of those where it's like, oh man, can't wait to call Steve up again and ask him if he's going to increase his number.
He's gonna be one of those guys. Man, I'm trying to think because he had so many. What was it? 10 points in 7 playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a killer! I feel like the teams that are going to be pursuing him are the teams that were ousted in the first round. I mean, outside of Boston.
Yep. I completely agree. I think the teams that are closer to that playoff hunt too, like that, if they feel like they're one player away, they got a good core. That's who's making that big move. And I feel like that's where Tyler's going to want his agent to start, accepting those phone calls. Maybe the phone call happens, but and I don't know if I'm necessarily eating crow if it does happen, but yeah, I think based on what we've seen, the evidence says we've seen the last of Bertuzzi.
Yeah, I don't think Yzerman watched those 7 games and said, "You know what? I was wrong all along. Let's sign this guy." But yeah, I don't want to pile on Blake. I think he's just a lot more patient than the rest of us are being. I mean, he was the 6th pick in his draft, so we know he's talented. Just we just haven't seen the the fruits of the labor come out yet.
Yeah, and we've I mean, how many times have we talked about Zadina's ability to still be in the positive?
I thought you were going to say employed.
Goals for. Yeah. You know what I mean, though? But, he's when he's on the ice, the puck moves in the right direction, kind of the same way that we were talking about. Like we could talk about Kyle Connor, like Tristan threw out there, myself talking about Nikolaj Ehlers. You want that puck to move in the right direction. You just want to see that finishing number go up. And sometimes Blake's right. Sometimes it does take some time, and you want to be patient. And we have. I don't know. Let me remind myself here. How affordable is that? What are we under $2 million for Zadina for the next couple of seasons?
Zadina is. Let me get that for you.
1.825 for 2 more years. I mean, yeah. What reason do we have to force it? Unless it was like somebody saw that in their trade and they're like, well, I'll only take this if you give me one more chip, and Blake threw in there, no patience. I think it's just about if it could work, yeah, I'm here for that conversation. So I've always had the same mindset with Tyler Bertuzzi. Yeah, if you're going to give me 2 first-round picks for Tyler Bertuzzi all day, every day, let's go. I feel pretty good about it right now. But yeah, that's
Wow. Yeah. I mean, he's a very young guy, and in Blake's defense again, I know a lot of us are really frustrated with Rasmussen, and now he's my God, the cornerstone of the team. Where if he misses games, the whole team collapses onto itself like a dying star. So I don't know if Zadina's going to be at that point, but he's right around that age where Rasmussen started to figure it out a little bit. So there's definitely a little bit of smoke. I wish there was more smoke, but there's smoke.
Chewy throws out there, Steve likes picks. Yeah, he says that all the time. Building through the draft. Build through the draft. So maybe this is a wasted conversation, but yeah, let's keep rolling. Dylan DeMello is another guy. I kind of just like the conversation for somebody who had
you're
could
looking
see
at a
here
right
on the
side defenseman.
Right. You could see here on the player card, like we've talked about players with a specialty, even straight defense for Dylan DeMello, 99%. So we're not getting that finishing touch, but we are getting a right side defenseman that we've all talked about. We need.
Yeah, this is a tough one. If this penalty kill is actually like representative of what he brings, because we could really use somebody who wants to do a little bit of special teams action. You know what I mean? We've had such a bear of a time either running the point or on the kill. Being that guy we can count on, where it just feels like, all right, no goals are going in for these 2 minutes. So yeah, I don't hate this idea, but it definitely feels like this would definitely depend on what we're giving up. Because let's see, does he have like a year left?
2 years, only 3 mil.
Well, so next season, he's just got next season coming up, and then he's a free agent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you get 1 year. Yeah.
Killorn is a free agent. Everybody was excited to talk about. I guess it's fine. People making the association of this being a Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning eliminated by the Toronto Maple Leafs as we transition away from the Winnipeg Jets. Look, the finishing is up near 80%. Penalty kill for Mike is at 90%. I think this is a piece that is going to help us ice a team, but the soon-to-be 34-year-old, that's it for me. I don't think this is like a difference maker or anything.
This would be a terrifying signing, because I feel like he might be a system guy playing with a couple of the best defensemen in the world and one of the best goalies in the world that can help elevate that penalty kill number. So he's definitely kind of a situational guy, and we know he's not really bringing any chutzpah to the even strength portion of his game. So this would be picking up a name. I would keep this one at arm's length for sure.
Dmitry Orlov, free agent, got moved from Washington to Boston. This is a left side defenseman. We have a very solid defenseman here. 91% even strength offense on his player card from JFresh. 97% finishing on here. Even strength defense is still at 67%. Just for me, it's another left side defenseman. So you're basically starting this conversation with the internal conversation of, do we just make this issue even a bigger one of how many left side defensemen you have? It's just for me in Boston, it's tough for me to figure out who we're going to attack. And I know we already talked about Tyler Bertuzzi. So just it gets tougher. And it's not the same conversation we were having about Winnipeg, where it's like, okay, you can have more fun with this because it's a team that's desperate. And I was listening to a podcast earlier today that was trying to figure out, like, okay, Boston gonna lose Bergeron. So now they're losing a huge piece, but cap wise, that's only freeing up $2.5 million. So what are you going to do? And this podcast I was listening to was like, maybe they explore getting rid of Ullmark, and I don't want Linus Ullmark. So
yeah, I don't know if that's the solution. I don't know if we're really in the business of collecting goaltenders. I feel like we're
I think
right now.
We definitely are in the business of collecting goaltenders.
I mean, no, we don't need to collect more. We're good.
But yeah, you've got Tyler Bertuzzi, Thomas Nosek, Garnet Hathaway is a great pickup for the Boston Bruins, who are on their way to being the number 1 seed in the playoffs. I don't need that on my Red Wings team right now. Although, some people are going to say with the role that he was playing for Boston, maybe Detroit needs more of that. Krejci's probably gone forever, and Connor Clifton just doesn't do it for me. And I think if we look at his advanced analytics, it's not so hot either. So Boston's just kind of a no-go. And yeah, unless you feel Tyler Bertuzzi was just waiting for the season to end. All right, here's all the Rangers.
Oh, yeah, I see a little name in there Matt wants to talk about for sure.
Yeah, I didn't want to pull up his player card, but I figured I'd give you an opportunity to pick out
wax poetic before you knock me down a peg.
I'm not doing it. I just remind you of what a horrible person he is and how bad I don't want him on my team.
Okay, so if you're not watching on YouTube, Matt brought up the Rangers.
Mike's giving me the
finger.
Right.
And I've jokingly barbed with Matt about bringing in Patrick Kane because we're gonna pretend that his personal issues off the ice never happened. And we're just going to talk about his dwindling goal scoring ability, which is something I've still fetishized because of all the years of torment he used to give us as a Blackhawk. But I think it's just something worth exploring because I think in recent history, the Red Wings have had kind of interesting success with guys past age 30 on short-term deals. And even if Matt doesn't, with a 6-foot pole want to touch Patrick Kane, you could be looking at Tarasenko, Matt. I don't know if he's going to command a huge number. And I don't think that he's necessarily dying to be a Ranger. From everything I've read, he's kind of excited to be a free agent, and he's kind of excited to be wined and dined. Matt, is this a guy who's going to be wined and dined with Coney dogs and Buddy's deep dish pizza?
I would want a definition of wined and dined, because I don't know if I saw enough once Tarasenko was moved over to New York that it was like, yep, this is the guy we got to make a huge play for.
Well, the appeal is that you don't have to trade anything, and you'd be doing a short-term deal because he's 31.
Yeah, I mean, the best argument is like, here we are. We're a year removed from 82 points in 75 games, including 34 goals. It's just that fast forward a year, which one would argue is statistically closer to the output you would get the next year. And we're looking at a guy put up 18 goals in 69 games and 50 points. I had to add the Rangers and the Blues numbers together, and I'm not good under pressure. All right. So like not terrible numbers, but again, back to wined and dined. I was assuming we would talk Tarasenko because it would be affordable. I guess it is very possible that the wined and dine gets him above this 3.75 that after a trade the Rangers could afford to eat. But yeah, that would be my conversation is like, oh, how far did he fall? And now I will give him a shot. But it's
tough to be super duper critical on a guy who would be second on the Red Wings in points, even on a down year for him where he had a couple boo-boos. I mean, this is we're just a year removed from, over a point a game. So I think it's just something to kind of flirt with because I think he's kind of right in that realm where Steve likes guys who are going to take maybe a little bit more money on a shorter term deal. And if they're, he does have that St. Louis blood in him, Matt, and we know how much the Red Wings and like acquiring former St. Louis Blues players. So I don't think it's that bananas of an acquisition. I think he's kind of right in the wheelhouse.
Well, we have a lot of comments up here we've been ignoring. Jim Johnson thrown out there. There's too many softies on the wings. Ottawa showed us what we really need. Sneezy Weezy. Is Laugh going to get moved? 0 points. 7 games in the playoffs. Mike, Lafreniere for Zadina, 1 for 1?
Oh, who says no?
Yeah.
Good question.
No, I think there might be, like, if you got in that conversation with the Rangers and you felt like you were making some ground, I would absolutely bring Lafreniere into the system. I just think it would be nuts for the Rangers to let him go because I think the fans absolutely love Laf. And somebody brought up today, like, what I heard in another hockey discussion was that he's doing great for the role they're asking him to play. You know, they're not asking him to be on the first line. They're not asking him to run the first power play. So, yeah, sometimes those guys don't rack up the points when they have another job to do. But that being said, Sneezy Weezy thrown out there. Laugh going to get moved? I don't think so. But if that started getting thrown about, I wouldn't hesitate to give up one of our juicier picks this year plus some stuff.
Yeah, so if you popped him into this year's draft, would he be number 3?
No.
No? Where would he be? I mean, I'm saying like ceiling is 3. I think that our boy out of Michigan and then Bedard are easy 1, 2. Would you not have? Where would you have Lafreniere? Would you really have him after the Russian dude that you don't get for a couple seasons?
I think Leo Carlson grades out really well.
More than Lafreniere? I mean, people are really pumped about that guy.
Is that what I'm doing? Am I going back to the draft year, or am I going based off of what we've seen so far?
I mean, we're not just going back to the draft year. We're going off of this draft year.
Right.
Guys. We got a nice crop. We goosed them up, man.
So how do I judge this?
Because
you went crazy.
So let me help you out. Let me help you out, bud. Let me help you out.
Right now,
yeah,
the ceilings right now for these names on here are higher than what Lafreniere would have based on what we've seen so far. Now, if we're talking about the hype going into the draft year, yeah, I'm sure there's an argument to be made that he would be number 3. I think easily Bedard and Fantilli are turning this into a draft that's like, oh, wow, this is not going to happen for another decade. But especially Bedard, this is, once in a lifetime. But I just mean having 2 great talents that'll help an NHL team right away. But these other guys, Zach Benson, Will Smith, who we profiled last week, go check out that episode. Leo Carlson, Michkov will be on his way, but those ceilings are higher than what we see right now.
Is he worth our 2 first-rounders?
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. But wow. I'm sure New York isn't going to, I'm saying no to that. What do you mean? Wow. I was going to say, I'm sure New York is going to ask for a lot of draft picks, but we
can't give this a lot of credence because there's no way the Rangers are moving him right now. But man, it just feels like he's really falling far in your eyes, man.
I think I'm being reasonable. I mean, I'm putting him 7th on this draft right now. And yeah, I mean, I don't know why would why would you give up 2 first-round picks when you have a possibility to land one of these guys that has a high ceiling?
Yeah, maybe. I'm saying that we thought that potential was there, and we're not that far removed. He's still a pretty young guy, and he's kind of productive right now at a baby age. So
you would give up 2 first-round picks? See, this is the bullshit. This is why I hate talk radio. You throw out the question and then you're like, well, I'm not doing that bullshit.
I would think about it. That's tough. Give me it.
Yeah, we'd all think about it.
Give me that. Hey, don't chastise my answer. You got a whole roundabout way of answering nothing. Yeah, I would do it, Matt.
No. I gave a stop right away. You were like, where does he rank? Is he 3rd? And I went, no.
Well, do you mean with the hype? Do you mean with the draft at the time? Like, Matt, no. Right now, this draft.
No, everybody's going to hear this argument. Those are valid questions.
I'm glad it's on the tape. Yeah.
Those
Matt thinks Lafreniere. Matt has given up on Lafreniere.
Sure. Yeah.
He's really into Will Smith. Ooh. Yeah.
Me and my love for the New York Rangers.
Hey, that's me. I have the love for the New York Rangers. I love those colors. They make me feel like I'm in America.
You're also wearing them right now. That could have been the reason.
It's pretty nice. Yeah. Why do you think I wear this Piston jersey? It's as close to a basketball Ranger jersey as I can get here.
All right, what do we have left? The Rangers were the last thing I pulled up. So yeah, I think no, Lafreniere will not be moved. Yes, I would want to have a conversation about it. Jim Johnson, Kane will not be in Detroit.
No, he will not. No.
Blake thrown out there. I like Kako.
Oh, yeah, a few of us hot potatoed that guy in our fantasy league. Yeah.
Jim Johnson, Timo Meier would look good in Detroit. Blake,
can you help me out on that one? How would we require him? You have to trade for the rights to sign him?
What is Tebow at? Can I pull up his profile? Did you pull him up?
I can.
RFA $6 million. Don't you have to pay like out the ass to get? So he's at a $6 million hit. Qualifying offer has to be $10 million, Jib. I don't think I'm ready to pay $10 million.
We do have the money for that. Just saying.
We do. You're right.
We do have a lot of money to throw around.
That would cause me to pause just a little bit. Jim Johnson, Zadina would end up on the Rangers' fourth line. Not unlike Lafreniere sometimes this year.
I like Righteous.
Throws out there. It'll be interesting to see who Stevie fleeces this year. And Jim throws out there again. We also need to address the goaltending situation behind Husso.
Not untrue. Righteous though, saying Tarasenko would be just fine. I agree with that. I don't think it would be a mega splash that gets us into the playoffs, but it would be probably an important piece. Guy who could score a little bit.
And Dan B throws out there, no on Meier, especially after that concussion the other night. I'm going to say no, just mainly because of that $10 million hit that I don't want any part of.
You know what we got to organize is because there's two approaches this offseason, and they're so dependent on how the draft lottery falls. Because if we end up winning the lottery, that's when I see that we're a little bit more aggressive and we think about spending money on a Timo rather than if we're, 9 or God forbid we fall back again. I feel like you kind of take an even more patient approach with free agency. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's super aggressive offseason because of some lottery luck. And then there's the patient one when, once again, the lottery balls don't go our way.
Well, things that do go our way when we work with DraftKings and Raycon. So guys, sit back just for a minute. We'll be right back to talk Oliver Moore and Gabe Perreault. Light the lamp during the hockey playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can make a $5 bet and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. And if you're not a new customer, I am on that thing every night with those quick same game parlays you can put together. One of them I was just looking at. You go tonight, you got Colorado, you get a line, you get a Mikko Rantanen goal, and boom, 3 things that, of course, it's against Seattle. It feels pretty good that's going to happen. That's just one of the many things that are on there, and they build up those little same-game parlays. Guess what? You're going to make a little bit more money because you're combining all of these things that are probably going to happen. Feels pretty good. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can make a $5 hockey playoff bet and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 and over in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for offer details. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Let's face it, with coffee starting at $5, yes, even without any customizations, and our bank account somehow always depleting, we are officially entering a dupe session. Most products do the same thing, but are priced differently, solely based on the brand name. So a good duplicate, or dupe, is crucial for getting the highest quality and the best price. One dupe you definitely shouldn't sleep on: Raycon wireless earbuds. I use them myself. I'm using them every single day. This is not a wish joke here. You are getting high quality buds for not the cost of some of those other suckers that are out there. Raycon is premium audio at the perfect price point, so you can listen to what you want when you want without breaking the bank. Raycon's mission is to prove that you shouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg for quality sound and essential smart tech listening features. You can get a pair and a spare, still pay less than you would with some of those other more big name tech brands out there. Raycon knows that in this economy, every purchase needs to be perfect. They offer buy now, pay later options. Right now, you can pay as low as $18 at checkout, and you'll be listening to high quality sound. They have an easy free return guarantee. They offer 2 years of product protection. They offer free domestic shipping and flat free international shipping. They have over 50,000 5-star reviews. Like I said, I'm using it myself. Metallica just came out with a new album. You know what I could have done? Could have listened to it in my car. No, I waited till I got home so I could put those earbuds on and jam out properly. You got those 3 customizable sound profiles, the earbud tap functions. Oh my gosh, listening to a podcast and just tapping that sucker a few times and moving up to the more interesting parts. Hey, skipping over commercials, right? Maybe I shouldn't key on that, but hell. And noise isolation. If you want to take advantage of all of those fun features and the price point, go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score 15% off. buyraycon.com/THPN.
Back, baby.
Woo! There we are. Hey, everybody. All right, quick reminder. Where are we at on our... Well, nothing's changed for the draft lottery odds. Yeah, we're still we're still looking at that 5% for pick 1, 5.2 for pick 2. And of course, last week, if you guys didn't hear it, you want to hear it, we profiled Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli. We took a look at Matvei Michkov. So we got those guys out of the way if we win those first couple of picks. Because we're not playing any games, guys. If we get pick 1, we know what's going on. We get pick 2, Adam Fantilli. We don't have to, like, Matvei Michkov, just not going to happen. Last week, we also profiled incredible second career for the Academy Award winning actor, Will Smith. Sorry, just kidding. U.S. development team, of course, Will Smith. We profiled him last week. Having a hell of a time right now on that first line. And we'll touch on some of those line mates. Last week, we drafted Will Smith, Gavin Brindley, Samuel Hanzik, Noah Dower-Nilsson, and Tom Willander. Of course, Noah Dower-Wilson, who we profiled last week as well, the brother of Liam. Smash that table. Noah, again, coming with such high numbers, we wondered if maybe Håkan Andersson was watching a Noah Dower-Nilsson game instead of his brother. And then Tom Willander, why not? Have a Willy Wally pairing once Wallander's ready to go. I mean, that's the motivation there. This week, we drafted Oliver Moore, pick number 9. Will Smith's line mate, Gabe Perreault. 2 guys then for the Red Wings, pick 9 and pick 18 from the U.S. development team. And we went Caden Price, Koehn Ziemmer, and Daniil. I'm going to say But. Should I call out any of these positions? Yeah, Oliver Moore is center. Gabe Perreault left wing. Caden Price defense. Koehn Ziemmer right wing, coming from the WHL. Sorry, I'm totally fucking this up. And then Daniil But from the MHL, 6'4", 198 pounds, left winger. It's your next Alexander Ovechkin, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Not really. Okay, so roll through these guys real quick. Like we mentioned, Will Smith, Gabe Perreault, playing on the same line together for the U.S. development team. Will, we talked about last week. Gabe Perreault right behind him on that points per game, 2.13. Of course, played a couple extra games there, so he's at 132 points, 53 goals, 79 assists. It's just incredible what we've seen. What we've seen that U.S. national team put together on the first line. Highly recommend. I know I shouldn't do this. God damn it all to hell. The Athletic Podcast, Max Boltman led a great conversation with Corey Promen about that U.S. national development team. I recommend it. Go check it out. But basically, you're looking at some guys that are putting together such great numbers. It's gonna, I mean, it's for me, turned my head, and now, like last week, I was trying to cheat on FC hockey on my mock draft so that I could get Will and Gabe. I just gave up at some point, and here we are this week. It all worked out because I went with Oliver Moore, who's got 74 points and 60 games played. He's down at the bottom of that list there for the U.S. national team. So let's start talking about Moore here. Mike, a center, 5'11", left-handed shot. I believe our boys headed to Minnesota for some college hockey. Consolidated ranking from Elite Prospects has him at number 8. The highest this guy has been ranked is by Elite Prospects is at number 6, and Draft Prospects Hockey has him at number 20. That'll be the highest he's ranked on any of these. Oh, Dauber Prospects has him at number 6 as well. What do we think?
That guy is really tough to like extrapolate those numbers playing against the under 18. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to consider some of the competition I think you're going against. I do get a more wet noodle like for guys who are playing against men. I mean, well, you know, it's not like it's never happened before, but I do like being able to kind of gauge and use that valuable of a draft pick on a guy who's actually, you know, played some tougher competition.
Now, Blake throws out there, we have Casper to fill a center role. We need a scoring winger for Larks like Boldy. That's why I picked up Gabe Perreault. We'll be good. What else we got in here? Dan B, Smith and Perreault combined plus 150. I kind of, you know what I really like? If you could get a couple of these guys, because we're going to talk about, we'll jump into like Scott Wheeler's take on Gabe. What if one of these guys is the reason this line is firing off and you pick up the wrong one? So if you pick up Will Smith and you've got 2 first-round picks, I really like the idea of getting 2 of those guys. Because one, I think their development goes better because they're still playing together. But 2, again, what if you drafted the wrong guy that makes this whole line for the U.S. national team grow? And you want to go with, go with the other guy. You got Gabe, you got Will Smith.
This is, by the way, this is a pretty glowing review here.
Oh, whoops. And this is Oliver Moore. I completely forgot. I got so excited talking about Gabe Perreault and Will Smith, but this this profile right here is for Oliver Moore.
Yeah, just, the first line has, been putting all the points in, but, really impressed with Moore. His skating ability in straight lines when he's turning defenders with ease out wide and in quick bursts with the explosive stops and starts. He's got, and he basically, the description, he's almost like a trained show pony, because the guy's got the gallops, the cutbacks, the crossovers, all of it. I've seen him create breakaways with ease, win races he shouldn't, and send defenders sliding when he stops up on them with a head full of steam. Hunts pucks, applies pressure with the best of them. One of those guys, a motor doesn't stop. Steve, huh? You like those guys. Can you imagine if this guy was 6'5"? Oh man, Steve would need a few minutes with some tissues. But yeah, he wants to hang on to the puck, make plays, but also hurry it up and dominate in and out of give and goes. Pretty good one-timer. Pretty good catch and release. And he's adding strength, which is another important thing with these, adding these kids is, they got a lot of body to fill out. But yeah, another guy who's, going to be strong in the face-off circle. We know the Red Wings, been having some struggles finding guys who can take and win face-offs. But yeah, puck protection in really good shape. And really based on this analysis, it's just not that much to nitpick. Looks like he's a guy who's growing, a guy who does have skill. He's got that motor doesn't quit. And the basic, summary is that, maybe not a super duper star like Bedard, but, definitely marketable skills. It'll make this guy a productive National Hockey League player. So, yeah, if we once again get screwed by the lottery, definitely a guy to think about. So this is a pretty glowing review, and I think this is what we would champion. Should Steve, use his pick on this guy.
Yeah, to me it reads like you're drafting this guy thinking middle six plus some power play, maybe a specialist here, especially with the catch and release, the one-timer ability. So I like that aspect of it, and that there's so many holes to fill on this team. And I think when you're talking about filling a guy, like bringing in a guy who's going to be your middle six center, I kind of like the idea too of Oliver Moore, and especially like Scott pointing out here that faceoffs doing great. All those little things doing great. We don't need to develop too much. I think this is one of those guys that makes so much sense because you're going to see him in like a year or two, instead of this being one of those long projects, or God forbid it's a Michkov project. Another one here, Gabe Perreault. All right. So we were just talking about the U8 teams first, U18 US teams first line. So Gabe, 17, right winger, 165 pounds, 5'11". Consolidated ranking has Gabe at 26. I was using, is it FC Hockey on here? There it is. Had him at rank 22. The highest ranking he's got is by Sportsnet, and I think he goes as far as 41, which, Mike, we have picks 41, 42, and 43, so it is possible we get this. We get our boy in the second round, according to Recruit Scouting. But yeah, this does look like this is going to be going to a team. Gabe, if the Wings aren't drafting them with their second first round pick, but Gabe looks like the kind of guy that's going to go to a team that won't need him right away, and they're going to get a guy they can be patient with and is probably going to be able to put pucks in the back of the net. So maybe a little bit more development time, but he's going to go into these teams that are playoff teams right now. Really like this comparison here as he's competing with his own line mate, Will Smith, Gabe is, and trying to catch up to Jack Hughes' USNTDP numbers. 2.24 points per game for Jack Hughes. Gabe at 2 points, doing fantastic work. Really impressive. He's on top of Cole Caulfield, Logan Cooley, Trevor Zegras, Matt Boldy, and down at the bottom, our boy Larks at 0.93. It's an extra point per game for the US. What is that? USNTDP. Okay. Now, Scott, this is interesting, right? So this would actually be like the highest ranking, right? Scott Wheeler has Gabe Perreault at number 8 for his top 32 picks here. But he confesses he stuck his neck out for Perreault quite a bit here. There are many who settled on Perreault as more of a mid to late first rounder because of the combination of his skinny frame, the line mates he plays with, and the perceived questions about his skating. He's likely going to be the 4th player from the national program pick because of his game is believed to be less projectable. less projectable doesn't mean he's going to be bad. It's just like we talked about with Oliver Moore. What I see is a guy who's middle six, probably develops a little bit quicker, gets a power play specialty in there. Know what's going on. Gabe, question mark, but could be a high ceiling with those points he's putting up. Son of longtime NHLer Yannick Perreault too. Kind of fun to think about. Yeah. He gets shots off extremely fast without bobbles and great catch and release sequences. He plans things out on the ice with speed, then finds a way to make the desired play. Slick one-on-one player. Also wait that extra split second and then just sling a pass tape to tape across the grain. He became a real puck thief by year's end, consistently tracking back hard to empty the tank and make effort plays on lifts. Now, that is what I love reading about Gabe Perreault. This guy's back checking is incredible. This is something like really made it a part of his game. So this speaks to two different levels, two things we talk about all the time. Can we find a prospect that is willing to be coached and willing to learn? And he's doing the learning. He's executing at a very high level. Gabe for me is somebody this is my first time reading one of Scott Wheeler's articles, so I haven't been tricked by him for the entire season, but Gabe's one that I've had on my radar, and it's one of those things. We all become doofuses, right? Once the draft rolls around. I did want to share this. I listen to the Anthony Jeselnik podcast every week, and his podcast partner is Greg Rosenthal of the NFL. He confessed this week he hates the NFL draft. He's like, I have to watch so many prospects, watch all these games of these prospects playing against absolute shit teams. And he's like, and I do it to see which of these 10% of these guys are going to become great NFLers. And he's like, this is such a fucking waste of time to focus on all this bad football to figure out who's going to be good at it. And it opened my eyes, but this is one of those things where it's like that kind of soured me a little bit, but it's like this is the kind of guy that gets me excited again about looking at these draft prospects. Now we're gonna run through these last couple of guys because Mike's reminding me here we're at 1 hour and 7 minutes. So I promised we'd go quicker through these episodes postseason, and we're not. So real quick. I also picked up Caden Price. We'll just knock out Tony Ferrari. Price shows some impressive playmaking. This would, of course, be pick number 41. So we're going 41, 42, 43. Impressive playmaking there from the blue line. Facilitating for his teammates and putting him in good position to score. Not bad. Daniil But, after playing on Russia's Hellebuyck Gretzky team 2 summers ago, played a point per game level in the MHL as one of the top two. What the fuck is a top 2005? Last season, it began his draft year on a tear in the MHL, scoring 11 goals in his first 15 games of the season before earning a mid-October promotion to the KHL for the first time. Committed 200-foot game. He can look a little uncoordinated out there at times. He skates well for his size. His hands are nimble for his size. Draws real. And there's some definite tools there. When I called him the next Alexander Ovechkin, I was kind of just playing off the Russian aspect. He's big and he scores goals. So maybe not getting quite Ovechkin. But, hey, we need a guy who can rip it. And then Koehn Ziemmer. Where am I at? He was the number 4 pick in the 2019 Bantam draft. Last year, he led Prince George in goals, finished second in points. 57, one back of one height. This year, he finished in the WHL's top 10 in goals and points. Regressed a little after his hot start. Strong, physically mature winger. And he's at 6 feet. This is one of those things. Let's start adding some bulk in here. We're getting these guys that are goal scorers. Enough of these goddamn playmakers. Let's put the puck in the back of the net. So, Dan B, thank you. 2005 is the birth year. Reading that, like, point per game level in the MHL is one of the top 2005s. What the fuck is it, 2005? All right. You guys are having a lot of conversation, not about the draft, so I'm wondering if these even need to continue. But that's who we're drafting in our second go around in the mock draft. I think basically we're seeing some opportunity here to land some goal scorers, some real potential in that ever-going game of mine to keep adding to our finishing potential. So yeah, I think too this should be relaxing because I don't expect us to make all 5 of these picks. They're going to be traded away. But if we do, there's a lot of potential out there. There's a lot of fun picks to be had. Like even if we didn't land a guy like Daniil But, who's 6'5" and can rip it, there's going to be some fun picks out there like Noah Dower-Nilsson. I think it would be fun to just have that conversation.
I would love to have a Bud on the blue line. I know he's a winger, but it was just a fun sentence to say.
He might be on the power play. Why not?
But we got to do next week. So we're do the tease because we're going to be doing Happy Box, Sad Box for a draft lottery reveal night.
What? Oh, on Monday. That's right. We're going to record together. We're going to record live. We can all watch it together.
Yeah.
Happy Box, Mike. We have very nice bourbon that we'll introduce. I have it. It's actually...
I'm getting champagne.
Where's my kitchen? It's actually right here. Right through this wall. And then what should our sad box be? Are we going to do like a box of wine?
I was going to bring champagne for Happy Box. Sad box.
Celebrating with the bourbon. No, you're right. Sad box is the bourbon. Happy Box is the champagne.
I feel like sad box is probably vegetable and maybe some sort of ginger drink that we don't like very much. Yeah, and like one of those moonshines, something like that. Oh, Danby, flat champagne. Oh, how about diet flat Pepsi?
Ooh, that
would be a really good sad box. Yeah.
All right, guys. So yeah, you guys get your happy and sad boxes together. We'll watch together. We'll celebrate. We'll cry. We'll be quick. We'll kind of just talk about like, okay, who have we profiled so far? What's going to happen with this pick? And we'll say, well, we're probably going to draft Connor Bedard, and then we'll sign off. But yeah, it'll be fun. And I don't know, maybe we'll end early because I don't know if I want to watch Chicago win Connor Bedard.
No, because I mean, even if things take a turn for the sour, it gives us a little bit better of an idea of what we're going to do with the off season, right? Where it's probably going to be more aggressive if we win, and probably a little more conservative and patient if we don't. So then we kind of have more of a direction, and be easier to kind of talk about free agency moves and guys we might trade for.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So we'll see you guys on Monday. We won't be recording on Wednesday because Mike and I will actually be at the LCA watching
All Elite Wrestling.
That's right. Yeah, if any of you guys are going, hit us up on Twitter. Hang out and grab a beer. But yeah, we'll see you guys on Monday. Biggest night of our lives. Again.
Wait, not this Monday. What's that date?
What? May 8th.
You said May 8th? Wow, it's that soon?
Yep.
Holy shit, it is May 8th. Wow. Man, I can't wait for that episode. Woo! Let's go! We're going to be number one!
Mike just found out.
Woo! I didn't
Mike just found out it's May.
Yeah.
Right.
I just realized. Number one! Sorry if I blew out all your eardrums, but we're going to be number one! Oh, no. There's an ad in there. All right, now it is time to sign out. Get out of here, aging offer.
All right. See you guys.
All right, bye.